Good afternoon, people. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all healthy and kind of getting on with life in general. Um, Not going to be too long on this one. It's just probably going to be my last video for a while because I think the way things are going at the moment is either keep talking about the same things regarding uh, people completely disregarding everyone else's safety and their own health and well-being, just as a way to sound their disapproval at one man's actions driving to Durham, um, or the real kind of sensitive topic at the moment regarding the events that happened in America and the subsequent protesting afterwards. I just don't think um, it's there's not really much else to talk about, and there's so many different varying views and so many different ways that people feel about this. It's kind of in with both situations, with the coronavirus situation and the George Floyd situation, it's brought out the best in people, but it's also brought out the worst in some people. And I just think I just want to just stay away from being dragged into a kind of a lynch mob or anything like that, for having an opinion or having a view. So probably won't do uh, many videos going forward. Probably won't pop up on social media too much either at the moment because that gets a bit too heated. Um, just want to put something out here straight away. It seems to be that if for some reason you don't wholeheartedly 100% agree with the whole idea of thousands of people protesting in the streets of London, Manchester apparently are going to have their own one at the weekend. Apparently, if you kind of just voice any kind of concern regarding spreading a coronavirus, you're immediately labelled as someone that agreed with how the policeman acted in America, and it makes you racist. So I just want to talk from my own point of view, from the heart. Uh, Take it as you find it. I'm just going to be completely honest about this. I'm particularly frightened at the moment with the way that the virus is is going, and people's attitude towards it, and people's denial that it's actually there. I did make a comment on social media in answer to someone else saying something along the lines of, isn't it risking people's lives and people's health having too many people in one place so near to each other? And I just said that literally my point was the right to protest and the right to voice your disapproval of something is completely yours to have. It's your decision to make. If you want to attend a protest march with thousands of people there, and you're quite comfortable with the situation with coronavirus, and that you believe in that cause so much that having a regard for your health and the virus is secondary to your need to protest, that is your divine right to do so. That's why we live in a free world where you can protest against anything and everything. But I did mention that you also have to, in the back of your mind, think that your decision about your health is completely fine, but you've also got to make a decision based on other people's health and people that you maybe don't even know. That, let's say, for instance, to give an example, if you were to attend a mass gathering and contract the virus but have no symptoms, but then walk around thinking that there's absolutely nothing wrong, and you then pass that on to other people who then pass it on to them, their family members, and maybe elderly family members or vulnerable family members or people with health conditions, and you pass that on, your decision about you is fine. You're completely in the right to make a decision about your health and your well-being. You're not in a position to make that decision about other people's health and well-being, and that was my point. That you can make protests, but you don't have to turn up en masse in very, very frighteningly large groups of people that could spread this virus and make it worse. A few people that I made that comment to yesterday completely agreed. Today, unfortunately, not so much. To the point where I was labelled as being racist because of having that opinion. Right, so let's get this out in the open straight away. I am not racist. I don't have to sit on a video like this and justify my actions of any kind, really. I just choose to. And I don't have to sit here and list reasons for why I'm not. I know I'm not. People that have met me throughout my lifetime know that I'm not. And that's enough for me. I know that it's a bad thing. I know that people shouldn't have that kind of view towards people of other races and minorities, but they do. It doesn't mean because I disagree with someone over a detail of something that they've said makes me racist. We can't all agree on everything. We're all going to differ. We're all going to have different opinions on different things. It doesn't mean that you've got some hatred towards someone or a racial prejudice towards someone because you have a difference of opinion. There is a vast difference between having a difference of opinion and being racist. Unfortunately, some people don't quite see it that way, and if you don't agree with how they have put things forward, or you challenge what they're saying, you're doing it out of racist reasons and not just out of just general I don't actually agree with what you're saying. I still stick by what I said. I was concerned that tens of thousands of people turned up in Hyde Park. There were stories that some people were around with bottles of hand sanitizer, and yeah, I did see a lot of the protesters wearing face masks. However, a lot of them weren't, and even though lockdown has been eased, it hasn't been taken away. We are still in the throes of a virus, and a virus that kills people. When I've mentioned that in this same kind of conversation, the response was, well, if there is a virus, well, there is one. 40,000 people dead backs up the fact that there is a virus that we should be taking very seriously. Now, I also agree that the events in America should be taken seriously as well, and people do need to kind of rise up against it. But we've also got to do that with one kind of look over our shoulder, that we are in the middle of a really serious pandemic, and to bring that up, that you're actually concerned about that, and then to be shouted down and told, well, because you don't agree with me 100%, you're racist, you're part of the problem, you're going to get found out, the world's going to catch up with you soon. It ain't. It ain't going to catch up with me, because I've got nothing to be ashamed of. What I've said is probably what loads of people are thinking at the moment, that they are worried of mass groups spreading this virus. Now, I can talk from experience that this virus has completely changed my lifestyle and my family's lifestyle. I have close relatives that are shielding at the moment through very serious health issues that they can't risk going out. So they haven't been out since March. I haven't seen a lot of my family since March. I can't see my grandchildren, and it's not through want of wanting to, but knowing that I have to, because I want to keep them healthy, I want to keep them safe. So I'm doing what I'm doing, hating what I'm doing, but doing it because there's a reason for doing it. I have friends that have had people that have passed away to this virus, so I know how it affects people in that way. I have friends that work in the NHS that are risking their lives day after day after day, helping control this virus. I work in a job, I'm not going to go into too much details about what I do, but daily I have to talk to the elderly, the vulnerable, people with mental health issues, people that have fallen on hard times money-wise, that can't scrape any money together to buy food, they can't get out, and I'm in a position where I can help them through my job. And I talk to people where I've had people crying on the phone, Just one, because they're happy that they can talk to someone on the phone and just kind of unload how they feel, but two, because they're getting assistance. So I think that fucking qualifies me to have an opinion on why I'm frightened about this virus. It doesn't give people the right to then turn around and throw that back in my face and tell me for having that opinion and being worried about the transferring of the virus and the R rate that we hear so much about on the news going up. It doesn't mean because I'm concerned about that, it makes me a fucking racist. Okay? If you don't like me having that opinion, tough, because that is it. I think I'm qualified enough with my experiences with this virus to talk the way that I am talking and to be concerned. I have never said, and if you want to go and check on social media, I have never said that people's right to protest shouldn't happen. I have never said that people shouldn't protest. If people feel strongly about this subject, and it is a very, very emotive subject, and it's something that does need to be tackled and it does need to be dealt with. I've not said in any part of that I disagree with the reasons behind protesting. I just said maybe look at other ways of doing it where not so many people get together in one place. And if you do that, people should kind of think in the background about the transference of the virus. No racist agenda in having that opinion whatsoever as far as I'm concerned, but obviously there will be people that will find something in that they can then hammer me back with it and say that, you know, I'm making a racist comment. So if you don't like my opinion about why I'm frightened about the virus, fucking tough luck then, as far as I can say. Because if you're going to throw accusations at me that are completely unfounded, then I'm going to throw back at you and say I can talk from experience. Much the same as when people are protesting about racism. If they've experienced it, they've got a right to protest because they've experienced it and they know what it's like. So I could not then turn around to them and say, well, if it's never affected you, you shouldn't protest. Everyone's got a right to protest, whether you've been affected or not. There was an interview, if you can go back and watch it on one of these kind of catch-up things, Channel 4 News last night spoke to the poet Benjamin Zephaniah, and he made a very, very profound statement about people's attitude towards racism, that there are areas in this country where racism just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen and people aren't aware of it and they haven't experienced it. And he said that doesn't then make those people racist because they don't know anything about it. They're not ignorant, they've just never had an experience of it. And he said, you know, maybe people, you know, need to walk a mile in his shoes to kind of know how bad it can be. But he certainly doesn't knock the people that kind of go, you know, that don't understand this because they haven't come into contact with it due to their geographic location within the UK. I suggest you watch his interview on Channel 4 News, because I sat and watched it and thought to myself, do you know what? The guy's hit the nail on the head about everything here. He's very eloquent about how he put things as well. So yeah, definitely go online and watch that. It was on Channel 4 News last night. So if there's a catch up to watch it, it was towards the end of the news. So I probably won't be popping on very much at the moment because I think things are going to get a lot more serious. What this shouldn't be about at the moment is trying to find ways of labelling people certain things. Surely the whole idea of this is to try and reduce institutionalised racism and similar things. Is to reduce it, not to try and find other ways of labelling people, saying they are racist when they're not. That doesn't help. That isn't going to help the situation if you then start going up to people and pointing the finger and labelling them and calling them something they're not. All it's going to do is make those people very, very angry and very, very offended, and some people very, very upset about being labelled for something that they do disagree with, but they don't agree with every single opinion that you happen to have. Disagreeing with people's opinions has happened since time began. It doesn't mean you think any less of someone just to have a difference in opinion. much the same as today. My difference of opinion was I felt that the protests could have been done with health and safety in mind. That was my point. It wasn't how dare they protest, how dare they do this. It's a complete waste of time. But however, I was kind of accused of being part of the problem rather than trying to solve anything. So I thought I just got to jump on in here and say how I feel. Some of you might watch this kind of go, I see where you're coming from. Others might be sitting there screaming at your screen now, having the same opinion as the person that had about me. If you do have that opinion about me, all I can say is I don't know why being concerned about everyone's health. I haven't turned around and said I'm only concerned about a certain minority's health, everyone's health. This virus has killed everyone from all walks of life. Doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, black, white, Chinese, whatever. It's killed people from all walks of life. It doesn't discriminate, this virus. It kills everyone if people aren't fit enough to fight it off. So I think having a fear of it and feeling that we're not taking it seriously enough and we need to kind of be more aware of it, I don't think it's a racist attitude to have. I just think it's a cautious attitude to have. Perhaps over-cautious. Perhaps you could accuse me of being a bit of a worrier. Fair enough. I'll put my hands up in the air and say, yeah, I am worried at the moment. But I certainly wouldn't accept or take the abuse of being told I'm racist just because I felt that the protests could have been done in a more kind of a health and safety conscious way and think about spreading the virus. Anyway, appreciate the videos you've watched that I've done in the past. Appreciate you watching this one. If you do have any comments, feel free. We live in a free world. If you want to make comments about it, if you're going to jump on and insult me, please don't bother. Because as I've just said in this video, if you want to think what you think of me, that's fine. I know what I am. The majority of people that know me know what I am, what I'm like as a person. If you can't deal with me just disagreeing with one detail about the protesting and you want to make that an issue to kind of label me someone just as bad as the people who carried out that awful atrocity in America, I can't do anything to stop you thinking that way. All I can do is know in my heart and in my head I'm not the same kind of people as that. Anyway, everyone, it goes without saying, and I mean everyone, please stay safe, please stay healthy, please remember we do still have the coronavirus around. We do still need to be safe and sensible about this. And maybe, a few months down the line or whatever, we can look back on this and we can all kind of go, yeah, tensions run a bit higher, emotions took over, and we can all kind of, shake hands on things and kind of go, perhaps I shouldn't have said this, perhaps I shouldn't have said that, and, and know exactly, who people are and what they are. Okay then, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you somewhere down the road, I would imagine. Goodbye, my lovelies.